Hello darlings, I hope you all had a great weekend and welcome to Monday. I'll be honest with you darlings, the news has been absolutely awful recently, and when I say awful, it's just been slow. We had a massive wave of information from E3, bits and pieces, and now it's just gone dead. But fear not, I have pulled out some juicy stories that have kind of popped on up. I know it's only a Monday, but hey, let's crack on and talk about Battlefield 2042. With the release of 2042, this will be the 11th in the series and also the most grandiose, bragging with 128 players per server. The latest installment of Battlefield as well steps away from the classic World War era style games and are going back to some of its more modern roots based on Battlefield 4, which in turn, if you've not read about it, has caused a huge surge in the Battlefield 4 servers. It seems to have picked up some speed, and it's meant that they've actually had to increase the capacity on their servers to support the new flood of players coming in. Now, when I heard that they were doing 128 player servers, I got really excited. The idea of having huge 64 player versus 64 player battles upon multiple planes, be it sea, air or land, sounds absolutely awesome. However, to be Mr. Obvious here, 128 players per game is a huge amount of people. And I wondered to myself, how are they going to go about filling up all of these servers? Because they're going to be split across a whole range of countries. Not all population densities are going to be the same. And you're not always going to end up with full player servers because people will flood to kind of like a spread of them. And it turns out EA have got a solution to this, and this is what they plan to do. They plan to use bots to fill in the gaps. Now, in this day and age, when people say bots, they have a lot of negative connotations around them. And I've got to be honest, I am a little bit skeptical about their implementation. So I went away, I dug up as many details as I possibly could. I'm here to share them with you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments if you think this is a good system or a terrible one. Okay, let's start at the very beginning and get two big statements out of the way. One, that EA have definitely said that these servers are going to be backfilled with bots. The other thing that they have also confirmed is that there is no plans to turn this off. I'm going to try and keep this as balanced as possible, but from a personal perspective, this already sets off a few alarm bells in my head, because back in the day, and even today, if you have a look at actual public servers, a lot of them will advertise no bots. And this is because, if we use a pudding analogy, no one wants, the fake cream version of a cake. They want the full fat version. They want to play players. There's just something not quite the same as shooting a bot as there is an actual human player. And I'm not saying here that people get kicked off, killing humans. I'm saying that you get that real organic kind of feel, there's that randomness, there's that human element that you get when it's not a bot. Now, the mechanism works how generally other bot-esque servers have done in the past, and basically, say you have 100 players, then 28 of them will be bots, and then if more humans come along, they get out, and the human will then take over. And this feature is embedded in both the Conquest and the Breakthrough modes. Now, I completely understand why they're doing it. They're taking, a big step, and they're saying that these are going to be grandiose games. They're going to be battlefields, 128 players at the same time. However, if you don't actually have 128 players, then it doesn't really live up to kind of that experience, and you end up with that no man's land effect. And when I say that, I mean just there's vast empty spaces, there's not much going on, you might arrive at your destination, then you get killed, and then you have to begin this long trek back to where you started again. And it's really not a fun experience, and you find that there sometimes are these open world games that have the same sort of effect, and it just kind of kills you off, and funny enough, the game rapidly dies after. But not to poo-poo on bots too much, there have been plenty of examples where they have been used to some success, and one of them, which is strangely enough from an EA product, was Star Wars Battlefront. And it worked really well because, you had a lot of people who were running around as stormtroopers, but when there was a whole bunch of AI just, creating the same sort of effect, you didn't really notice, and it really added to the theme and the impact and the overall enjoyability of the game. But I guess ultimately this will come down to the implementation of the bots and what they do with them and what the bots actually have the scope to do. So whether or not will they have access to the vehicles, will they follow you, will they go around in their own squads, what is the actual behavior. And the other thing that kind of worries me as well is that will they be exploitable? Are they going to add XP to the game? Will people be able to use them as stat bumps, for example? I think at the moment it will be really easy to make some unfair assumptions about the whole bot implementation without actually seeing all the cards on the table. And yes, while there have been some terrible examples of bots in the past, there have also been some really good ones. And also at the moment, we don't even know the actual server architecture that they're planning to use. Previously, in the last 2 Battlefields, they've used cloud-based servers that have spawned up when enough players have requested them. And this may very well be the case, so we may not actually end up in a situation where we have that many bots to deal with anyway. My last positive takeaway, though, I will say about adding bots, though, is that if you want to play the game on your own, it really does enable that. And with the rise of toxicity and people, wanting to play on their own, maybe not everyone is an avid gamer, this kind of functionality is really important. But alas, that is all I have on the bots at the moment. EA have promised to give us more details, so as soon as I know more, I will let you know. And if there are any details that you would like covered by us, then do let us know in the comments and we'll do our best to try and get it to you. But as always, remember everyone, please stay safe, please stay healthy, and have a great week, and I'll be back with more news soon.